Good morning, students, or afternoon, depending on when you actually see this. This is Mr. Matthews. I'm going to take you through assignment number 4. This is your last science fair assignment for the quarter. By now, you should have received your grade for science fair assignment number 3. If you've not received your rubric back, then I will pass that back to you today at some point. As of right now, assignments 1, 2, and 3 are finished. There's no need to turn that in. It's now time to focus in on the entire research plan. So if you're looking at our science page here and you scroll to this, click on the science fair, you'll come down here and you'll click on a science fair assignment number 4. All right. So what you've been working on this entire quarter has been your research plan, or the goal of quarter 1 is to put together a complete research plan. And assignments 1, 2, and 3 have been just chunks of that research plan. And it's allowed us to give you some feedback on those assignments. So when you do put together the entire research plan, you've made some edits and we've seen exactly what you've been working on. So this assignment is due on 31st, on Halloween, next Wednesday. Need to have a paper copy. Right? There is no late work. I have to have it on the 31st. This is 15% of your overall grade. Any points that you missed for science fair assignments 1, 2, and 3, this is how you get all those points back. When you turn this assignment in, I will grade the research plan, and now I will replace your science fair grades with the new grades based on the edits you've made. Okay? So the first thing that you'll need to, of course, do is make your edits. Any corrections that I've asked you to make, or if you didn't do one of the assignments, of course you need to do one of those assignments and come see me with any questions. And the second thing, I'm going to ask that you fill out one of these 2 templates. If you're an experimental project, then you'll use this template right here. And move that out of the way. And if you are an engineering project, then we'll use this template right here. So the first thing that you'll do, notice that the blue headings here, right, those remain. And anytime you do a formal paper, you will get marked off if you leave this information. This is just the direction for that section, but that does not become part of your research plan. You need to delete these, much like this part up here. This is just the directions. All of this goes away when you turn in your research plan. This is a formal paper that you're doing, or formal plan that you're printing out and turning back in. But really all you're doing, if you've kept up with your assignments, you're just copying and pasting. So you would delete this, copy and paste your research plan. For B, this is your experimental design. All right, your research question, this is all assignment number 1. For your research methods, you have your assignment number 3, materials and risk, or materials and procedures, your risk and safety, and your proposed data analysis. This was all assignment number 3. Right down here, the addendum piece, you can actually delete that. So what happens is, normally when you do your project, when you're doing your project, you find things that you want to do differently or you want to add, and that you do like spur of the moment to make your project better. Any types of those situations you add here once it comes time to science fair. Okay, we don't need to do anything, we can just delete that there. And then finally we have the bibliography. We do not need the annotations, we just need the sources right here. Okay, the rest of this research plan shouldn't really apply to anyone except for maybe a few people. If you did a human project that was approved by me, and there's only one person in STEM that did that, they would be adding, additional things to the research plan. Likely, if you were working with animals, if you were working with hazardous materials, you would add these additional parts to the research plan. Everyone else, really, it's just this first page. So when you turn in your research plan, I don't need all this. I don't need this part of the research plan unless you're doing humans. And again, that's only refers to one person. Right? The engineering template is the same. It's really the same thing. We don't need this part. You put in your rationale. You put in your research question and engineering goals. You put in your materials, procedures, risk, data, safety, and then how you're going to collect your data. What are the data tables that you're using? You would paste there, and then you'd have your bibliography, and that's really it. Okay? You're just copying and pasting what you've already done. And down here, if anyone was using any hazardous chemicals or activities or devices, they'd put that here. No one is. So you're really doing these first 2 pages, right? Mostly what you're doing is copying and pasting from your plan on over to this template. And again, when you're finished, I need a paper copy, not electronic. I need paper because these plans go into your Science Fair folder with your paperwork. If you'd like to see a couple of really good plans, you can look at these samples. Sample 1 is an experimental project. It's not perfect, but you see there's no directions. It's just simply the titles. Look at the research question, the procedures, the safety. They did not add a data table or graph, so they would have needed to do that. And this is the addendum that they did. They made some changes as they did the project. And then, of course, the bibliography. Sample 2 is an engineering project. All right, you can see the light blue titles here, or the subheadings. You have your rationale, your expected outcomes, research questions, engineering goal, the procedures, any risk, and then they have their data table of how they're collecting their data. Okay, so you can look at these 2 examples if you would like. But again, this project is due, or this paper is due the 31st. That's next Wednesday. I need to have it or you will have a 0. Right? This is the main goal of Science Fair for this quarter, is to turn this research plan in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to come talk to me before school, at lunchtime, or after school.